let me tell you a little about what we're going to do this morning. This morning, I'm going to demonstrate top to bottom how to do a close on the business side, because I want you to have that exposure. Yesterday, you saw that with the Maverick. You got to see that with the Works, like a $5,000 sale. And anytime you're talking to someone in the game of real estate, a real estate lead, you're talking to them from get mentored by Kris, and you're hoping that you're going to set that person to a closer, but then you just keep moving down as you learn about their assets until you figure out what is going to be most appropriate for this person. Does that make sense? By the way, in any of those higher level programs, I'm their partner. I'm communicating with them. I'm connecting with them, and they're going to private events with literally exclusive, just me teaching them how to do this. So they're getting that access. But even when someone buys a $997 consolation prize digital program, they still get 2 tickets to get live with me virtually or in person. So they're still going to get that Kris X factor. So every time you get on the phone, it's like, you've been watching this dude. My goal is to see whether it makes sense to get you with him, having him be your mentor. Do you want Kris to be your mentor, yes or no? If so, let's have a conversation. Does that make sense? Yeah. In the business side, it's the same thing. You're hoping that this is someone that can go all the way and start a real business to make a $30,000 investment or a $22,000 investment and literally figure out how to quit their job that year. Real estate, you're not going to do real estate and quit your job this year unless you're insanely aggressive. It would be 10 times easier to do it in business than real estate if your goal is financial freedom now. Financial freedom someday, real estate. Financial freedom in the next 5 to 10 years, real estate. Financial freedom this year, business. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, by the way, can you talk to, if you're talking to a real estate lead, and they're like, man, I just need money now. I'm hoping I can do enough deals to make a lot of money now. Could you open the door and say, bro, did you, or gal, or dudette, like you might want to actually get with Kris on what he does in business because it sounds like you need to go faster. Could you make that jump?
Yes.
Yeah, but remember, you got to follow what they want. You're okay to like test the waters and suggest some of that. And what I want you to understand in the value ladder of real estate, we have a $5,000 program called The Works. And who can sell that?
We can.
You can sell that. And you can also set the next level program. It's a $10,000 where they really get to start partnering with me. And it's the Platinum program. If a closer closes this, you get to board half the volume and they get to board half the volume. So it's 5 to you, it's 5 to them. The compensation of them buying a $10,000 program through a closer or a $5,000 Works program with you, the pay is the same. Does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
It works the same way in the business value ladder. We have a $7,000 program, which is Coaching Plus. And Coaching Plus comes with 6 months of one-on-one mentoring, 20 sessions. Guys, that kills it. Like Luke is so incredible at this. But the next program up is double, just like this goes from 5 to 10,000. We have a $7,000 to the $14,000, which is 7-figure owner. This is where they're going to get 4 days of business coaching with me. The $14,000 needs to go to a closer. The $7,000 can be closed by who?
Us.
It can be closed by you. By the way, how many of you know how much money you make when you sell that? Just if you sold this one thing this week. The sliding scale, remember, is at $5,000, you're at 10%. At anything over $5,000, you're at 15%. And anything over $10,000, you're at 20%. Does everyone remember this? Yeah. So by the way, if you were to sell $7,000, are you over 10%? Yes. You're over $5,000, so you're in the 15% range. So 15% on $7,000 is how much? It's $1,000. So you get paid $1,000 if you sell this. If a closer sells the $14,000 package, 7 goes to you, 7 goes to them, you're still going to make how much? $1,000. Now, by the way, we go to a closer because there's a chance that 10 might turn into 15 and then you get paid more, or 25 and you get paid a lot more. Same thing can happen here. So there is a slight conflict of interest that I want you to be aware of. The conflict of interest is, oh man, this person's kind of a laydown. I could close it for 7, but they could also do the 14. You have to have the integrity to do what is right by the client. More, how many of you have seen that more always gives you way more? More gives you way more. So if you talk to someone and they've got $20,000 set aside that they could start a business, you want them talking to a closer even though you'd get paid the same amount of money for doing this. This is just the integrity of do what's right for them. But I also want you to be empowered that you can also do this. When you get a history of closing your own deals, $5,000 or $7,000 and less, then you get to be invited into the rotation to become a closer. And we'll give you that structure later. But when you're a closer, I'm also going to tell you, you're just going to make a lot more money because someone else is now setting you on a deal for $10,000, $15,000, $25,000, $30,000. And if you close that deal can double or triple your paycheck. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do a role play right now. And I'm actually going to do this role play with Carson. I've got him sitting here, and I want you guys to be able to take notes. And I want to actually assume that Carson went online, watched one of my YouTube videos about seven-figure hustle. Maybe he watched Trent's documentary of how he, within 30 days, went to make $9,000. And so Carson went online and he actually bought my mini seven-figure hustle book on literally how to kill it in business. And now I'm going to be calling him. And I'm going to be demonstrating this $7,000 sale. Is everyone with me?
Yes.
All right. Here's what I want to do for this. I want to make sure I don't screw it up. So I'm going to borrow this, and I'm going to use this exact script as just like what you guys have here in the value ladder. We're going to be pitching the Seven-Figure Hustle Coaching Plus.
What page are you on?
That is on page 29. All right. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to show you start to finish what that looks like, and then we're going to debrief it. Afterwards, we've got a message from our CEO talking about our culture that we have here. And we're going to actually show you how to engineer your income to kill it with proper expectations. And then afterwards, I'm going to do a deep dive with everyone online and here. We haven't had a chance to hear from a lot of you. I don't think I've even heard what Mark's voice sounds like just yet, or Kris. We're going to be diving in and we're going to be pulling you guys in. We're going to have a deep conversation around your why. Because I'm going to tell you right now, your success is not tied to how well you can sell. It is more tied to personal conviction. If you have a game plan and you know if you believe in this and you know how it's going to be used to help you take your next step forward, then what you can do is unlock a part of yourself that is powerful instead of trying to sound powerful. You guys understand this adage, fake it till you make it? I don't want anyone faking it. I want everyone here being authentic. That's what I'm known for. Which means I will share the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll share from 10 years ago when the SEC came in and pounded down my door and threatened to shut my business down, and because they thought I was doing things wrong, and it turns out that I wasn't. I don't mind letting everything hang out because people today are demanding to talk to real human beings. No fake, no phony. There's no fake it till you make it. You are powerful, you're acting powerful. And so I want to have a conversation about how you unlock power to really, because you guys understand that if you are 1 degree shy of boiling temperature, what do you get?
More water.
Steam. But it doesn't boil. So I want to talk about how you do this in a way that will get you to a boiling fever pitch. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right. So Carson, are you good for me to just do this with you a little bit?
Sure.
All right. Let's make sure we got one of these nice and clear for you. All right, hey, is this Carson?
Yeah.
Carson, hi. This is Bart. I'm calling from Kris Krone's YouTube channel and organization. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks, Bart.
You're welcome. Listen, I'm actually calling because it looks like that you bought, or at least got Chris's book for free. I want to let you know that it's in the mail. It's headed your way.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet, but
No.
I'm excited.
Well, that's good. Can I just ask you, what was it that you saw either that Kris was doing on you? I don't know how long you've been following Kris. I mean, he's had a lot of success. He's helped a lot of people, and he's got millions of people following him right now all over the world. What invited you to actually take action and do that?
I really like books, Bart. I read a lot, and lately I've just been reading a lot of personal development stuff, but also reading a lot of financial stuff. I've been diving deep into Dave Ramsey's One for the Money. It's really
Good.
interesting stuff. I like to learn about that
stuff. You know what? First of all, I just want you to know Kris wanted me to call you and actually congratulate you for taking action. And I'm glad to know that you enjoy reading. Sounds like you really appreciate financial knowledge and figuring some of that stuff out.
Yeah, totally.
Very cool. Listen, I want to share with you actually why I'm calling you. Obviously, the book came with, a free business consultation. I'm just going to tell you briefly what it's about, and you can tell me whether you think it would be a waste of your time or not.
Okay.
Kris wanted me to call you and let you know that right now, he's personally looking for a handful of people this week that he and his team can privately coach and actually help produce rock star personal business results to the tune of either supplementing your income with hundreds to thousands of extra dollars a week, or literally making enough money to walk from a job. There's a lot of people that are in the reading, curious, learning phase, and I'm actually here to find a handful of people that say, you know what, if I had a chance to actually work directly with Kris Crone, work directly with his team, and start making some money like in the next coming days and weeks, I'm looking for that person. So is there something there that might, interest you or be useful for you, or something you maybe even want to just learn more about and consider?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't some kind of like get rich quick scheme, is it? This isn't some MLM, is it?
No, thanks for asking and clarifying on that. Definitely.
I've just heard that before. Walk for
Sure.
a job, blah, blah, blah.
There's definitely a lot of garbage out there. And I don't know, how long have you been actually watching Kris's videos?
Just shortly, honestly.
Okay, so you're new.
It's been a couple, I probably sat down and watched 10 videos the other night. But really, I've
so
only
just a
done
little
it
bit.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, so some people have been watching Kris for years. So his reputation, as you know, is he's helped a lot of people become super successful. Right now, literally, he has millions of people watching him on just about every channel out there. And some people come to him for real estate because they want to become financially free that way. Some people do it through business. But one thing Kris is known for is getting results. He doesn't really like giving people books and educating people, because education without action doesn't produce a result. And being here personally trained by Kris, sometimes he's a little bit of a high pressure cooker, because if he's going to do anything, he wants a result. Mm-hmm. So part of the reason why he wanted me to call you was literally to find out, do you just want to read a little bit? Are you interested in maybe making a little bit of money on the side? Or are you kind of at a point in your life where you're serious about controlling more of your personal financial destiny?
I guess I haven't thought too much about it.
That's fair. Can I ask you a different question?
Yeah.
How much money would you need? Do you have a job? You work, right? Are you married, have kids, or are you the only?
I'm married. We have 2 kids, boy and girl.
Are you working a lot of hours?
Yes. So I'm the assistant marketing director for a social media marketing company.
Sweet.
Here, so.
Let me ask you, have you ever felt like you were working really hard for the money that you're making?
Yeah.
And listen, I don't know what your situation is, but most people hate what they do for a living. 87%. Do you like what you do?
I wouldn't say I hate it, but it wouldn't hurt to walk away from it.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, how much money would you safely need to make consistently every month on the side so that you could even have the option to walk?
I mean $7,000 a month.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I have some clarity. If I could show you, working with Kris and being mentored by him and his team, how to make an extra $7,000 a month, that could start opening doors and options for some different financial flexibility.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You're saying on top of my job?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether you quit your job or not, man, is up to you. Kris likes showing people how to take an extra 1, 2, 3 hours a day to either replace their income, supplement their income, and then obviously he has students that go and surpass that.
And this is through real estate?
Well, it depends. Kris does that through real estate. You've been watching his real estate videos. Kris also does that through business for people that want to make money really fast.
Okay. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I don't even feel like it's possible.
You know what? I totally get that. And I got to tell you, right now, what I've been asked and trained by Kris to look for, I see Kris every week. I'm trained by him to find people that don't have a path, don't have a way, but they know what they want, and they're waiting for that lucky break, that if they had the right system or the right opportunity, or the right coach or the right mentor that could make the difference, that they would jump on it. So I guess my question for you is, and let me just even ask, how long have you been at that job or even working in the industry?
4 years.
4 years?
Mm-hmm.
So you sound pretty young.
Uh-huh.
So listen, you've got your whole life ahead of you. You can freaking dink around for the next 30 years and get nowhere financially like most people. Chris was financially free at 26. He's looking for someone that says, you know what? I want a better life.
I'm 26 right now.
Well, there you go. By your age, Chris was already done working. So my question for you is, do you want to take 20, 30 minutes jam with me and see if I can open some doors? And if not,
100%.
dude, we just part as friends. It's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that work?
Yeah.
All right. So help me understand a couple of things, Carson. If you wanted to make an extra $5, $7, $8, $10,000 a month, and you could do it in way less time than your job, why would that be meaningful to you?
You know, I have goals in life of things that I want to do. But when you work 40 hours a week, 40 to 50 hours a week.
Which is it? Is it 40 or 50 that you work?
Depends on the week.
Oh, come on.
Half the time it's 50 hours a week.
Okay. Does that ever chafe you?
You just come home tired. It's hard to muster up the desire to want to, work on some of these goals and things that I want to do.
What are some of those? Like, what is it that you want that you're not getting right now?
Oh man, I feel like, so what my company teaches people to do is really great, but there's better ways to do social media marketing, and I feel like, I've thought about maybe making a course or starting a business of some sort, something like that. I just know that there's better ways to go about doing it.
Got it. So you're kind of in the spirit of, hey, I think I can innovate and outperform. I can provide something superior and better.
Yeah, but you gotta have that security of a job.
Yeah. Well, let me counter that. You need the security of a job until you have enough money on the side that you don't.
Yeah.
For example, imagine this was your first month having an extra $7,000 from your side hustle. Like, would you want to quit your job right away? Probably not, right? You'd want to get a little more track record.
Yeah, for sure.
But what if it was the 6th month of a consistent $7,000 a month that took you a fraction of the work time? And what if you started saying, if I quit my job and had even put a couple more hours into this, I could double that again?
Yeah, I'd walk, for sure.
Right? I don't know if that's important to you. It sounds like you don't hate your job, but it does sound like you're working a lot of hours and it sounds like you get tired.
It's more just, it's the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Like, time for money.
Yeah. But I'm also going to tell you, Carson, hands down, someone that just on the side tries to start a business, their chances of success are super low.
Yeah,
Like
that's honestly another thing that's been holding me back is, I guess you'd call it fear.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been reading all these personal development books and finance books, is because I want to do it right. I don't want to fail.
Well, if it's all right with you, I mean, if for just a moment, if I could knock on Chris's door and get him to have a conversation with you and give you a private game plan, and he could literally take you by the hand and show you how to start making this kind of money in business, how meaningful would that be?
I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, you and 3,000 other people this month. I can't do that. But let me share with you what I want to share with you what I can do.
You got my hopes up.
No, I know, but I want to share with you the very next best thing.
Okay.
I have spent considerable time with Chris, training and learning and studying under him. I've got my own financial game plan. My life changed since I started working here. I've not only been able to help a lot of people work with Chris, but I take pride in my job that I get to actually find people that are ready to make life happen instead of life happening to them. And so I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to put myself in your shoes, and I'm going to actually show you some options based on where you're at. And I'll be honest, in 20 or 30 minutes, I might look at your finances and say, sorry, dude, there's no way I can help you get to $7,000 a month. I may have just wasted your time. But I think there's a higher likelihood of getting to the end of the conversation and having you say, hey, I actually have a greater perspective, a greater understanding, and I might even be able to qualify you to have Kris be your business mentor. And I'm not sure, but we'll just have to find out.
Okay.
Are you open to that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, let me go ahead, let me understand your finances a little bit, okay?
Okay.
So you've been at that job for 4 years, roughly approximately how much you make?
55.
Are you making $55,000 a year? Awesome. You married?
Yeah.
Awesome. What's her name?
Shalina.
Chrissy.
Chrissy.
Yes. Listen, is Chrissy there?
Yeah.
Is she right next to you?
Yeah. And I'll just warn you, she sounds a little like she's got a low voice. So don't be surprised.
Gravity Falls Brenda, I get it.
Yeah.
Like deep voice, right?
Deep voice.
Totally fine. Listen, What we're talking about here is so life-changing. I'd actually like to get her on the phone, get her caught up to speed so that we can
She's actually been sitting here listening with me this whole
Oh!
time, so.
Chrissy, how are you doing? Play along or I will kick you. Chrissy, how are you doing?
Great.
No. That might work better.
I'm great. How are you?
We're just gonna go with the manly voice.
That's the beautiful Chrissy right there.
Chrissy, how are you doing?
I'm great.
No, don't do that.
The moment I heard her voice, I was in love.
All right, so friends, pause. What I'm going to do right now is I want to get a couple on the phone because I want you to understand the dynamic of talking to decision makers.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to go with Kris. So Kris, you've been hearing a little bit about as his business partner. Let's do it that way. So Kris, as a business partner, you've been hearing a little bit of this conversation.
I have been, yeah. You've been on speakerphone the whole time.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, listen, it sounds like Carson's ready to have a conversation about, all right, what is this about? Is this real? Is this a hoax? Could I actually genuinely have Kris as my mentor? Or is this we're about to find out. My question is, first of all, are you okay if we share that conversation together?
Very open for the conversation. I mean, Carson's a wonderful man, but he does tend to get overexcited.
Got
I'm
it.
really interested in seeing what you can bring.
Well, good. Then I'm actually personally glad that you're on the phone because it sounds like you're the one that keeps everything grounded.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So here's what, listen, I know I've been on speakerphone, but let me just create some clarity for the two of you again, because I'm talking to you both now. Kris has personally commissioned and trained me to I'm just part of a team that goes through the thousands of people that are constantly reaching out saying, pick me, Kris, be my mentor, help me have accelerated financial results. My job is to find a handful of people every week that are actually serious, not just curious, that are ready, they've been doing it a certain way long enough that's not getting where they want to go, and they're looking for enhanced results. Would you say that if I could present options, real options that could actually help you genuinely, quickly accelerate your financial results, is that something that you're open to learning about?
As long as they're genuine.
Perfect. Well, listen, I'm going to make a promise to you right now. I'm going to be honest, upfront, and truthful to you, and I'm just going to ask that you do the same.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, let me kind of dive in here. I need to understand your finances. Can I do that?
Yep.
Carson, I know you're making around $55,000 a year. Kris, are you working?
Yes, I am.
How much are you bringing in?
Let's call it 60.
Awesome. So roughly between the two of you, you guys are bringing in basically $115,000, $120,000-ish a year. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you feel like you're financially getting ahead, or do you feel like you're breaking even or getting behind?
Honestly, I think we're at slightly better than break even.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing.
All right. Most people, by the way, most people know how to balance their budget where they just keep their head above water.
We've been planning on starting starting a business for a while, and we've been trying to put away a little each month
Okay.
to bankroll it.
How much if you found the right business that you wanted to start that you believed in, how much money have you set aside for something like that?
So actually, my grandfather just passed away, and he left me $12,000.
Got it.
And then between both of us, like I said, we've been saving, and so there's probably another, we had 2,000 that we've.
Yeah, right around there that I'd be willing to work with.
Perfect. Awesome. Couple other things. Do you guys 401k or IRA? You guys know that Kris is big into real estate investment.
Yeah.
That's how he became financially free originally. Now he helps people do it really quickly through business. He helps put their long-term real estate game plans aside. You brought that up, Carson. Have you been doing like a 401k, an IRA, or anything like
I
that?
have about 5,000 in 401k, but I don't think I can touch it.
Because it's from your current employment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that match is sweet.
No, I bet it probably is. And it kind of stinks when we can't touch the money that is technically ours. I get that. It's a little rough.
Yeah.
IRAs, anything else that I should be aware of?
I've got about 5K in dinar.
Oh my gosh.
That's a foreign currency that we're not talking about today. Thank you, Kris. What about you? Do you guys rent or own your house?
I am.
Okay, and what do you think the value of your house is?
We're in Utah, and the market's insane right now. So the real value of the house is $300K, but I bought it for $500.
Wait.
Sorry, I'll give you a better example. Yeah, it's $300K.
And what do you think you owe on it, maybe?
We've only been in it like a year, so we still owe like $280.
Got it. Okay, got it. And then annuities, precious metals. Are there any other assets I should be aware of?
Just the dinar.
Just the dinar. Awesome. I'm not going to write that down.
Oh my gosh.
Out of disrespect to myself. All right, so I've got this written down. So first of all, thank you. That's super helpful to have a basic understanding of your finances. And what I'm kind of understanding, at least in Carson's situation, is that if you could pursue more of your own passion, maybe own your own business or help people with some of your upgraded innovative ideas, or didn't have to put 40 or 50 hours a week in your, like you'd be okay walking if you had security and consistent and sustainable income. Is that right?
For
What
sure.
about you, Chris? Is that a goal of yours, yes or no?
Yeah,
Okay, so this is actually important to the two of you.
it is.
Makes sense, okay. Well, based on the information you've given me, here's what I would like to do. I'm going to have you write down what it precisely looks like to work with Chris and his team to create those business results for you. You're gonna want a pen and paper. I'm gonna have you write these things down. And I think you're gonna be shocked at Chris's approach to business because he believes in over-delivering and blowing people away. And what I wanna do is I wanna outline a program for you of what it would look like if you worked with him. Can I do that?
Yeah.
All right, first of all, I want you to write this down. I want you to write down 7-figure hustle coaching. That's Chris's brand. He helps people put in a little hustle on the side to be in charge of their own financial destiny. And Chris has proven 50 different businesses, and maybe you've heard about a couple of them, they're on the YouTube channel. But he's basically created really simple ways for people to spend less time in making more money and being in control of their own destiny. And the reason why it's called 7-figure hustle coaching is because at this level, Chris doesn't believe that you're going to be able to have a super high chance of success unless one of his expert trained business coaches takes you by the hand and literally walks you through how to do it. We just typically find that the 80-20 rule is alive and well, and most people on their own often will read a book and learn, but they won't necessarily execute. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so Chris really only believes in working with people where he can remove as many risk factors as possible. So I want you to write this down, and I also want you to write down this figure, $6,997. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to basically show you a $26,000 program that you can get for a fraction of the cost. And that's part of just how Chris over-delivers. So let me break it down for you. With that pen and paper, the first thing I want you to write down is you're going to need to get some initial training. And Chris digitally gives you that training because you can go through it as fast as you want. We're hoping that you can do that pretty fast because for this business, you're going to probably need to be able to put in, my guess is between the two of you, 5 and 10 hours a week minimum. So let me just start with that. 5 to 10 hours a week, is that even realistic with your current lifestyle?
Depends on how much overtime I work. But yeah, I think if I'm excited and motivated about opportunity, I can find 6 or 7 hours a week.
Yeah, my thing is, it's gotta work.
No, we're gonna talk about that. But I just need you to understand that if you don't even have 5 or 10 hours a week, we shouldn't even be having this
It is
conversation.
working.
We shouldn't even have this conversation because if someone doesn't even have 5 or 10 hours a week to put into something that could replace their incomes, then there's never gonna be anything that'll ever work for you. Like, that's just the minimum.
If we think it's gonna work, we'll find the time.
All right. So here's what I want you to write down is Chris has got some business training videos. Now, people pay $2,000 to access that training. So I also want you to write that down. And it's about 5-6 hours. And you guys can do that in a day. You can do that spread over your first week. We're hoping that in the first 10 days you get that slammed and done out the door. Because if you're putting in 5 to 10 hours a week, you should be able to get through that training. Now, the next thing that happens is Chris is going to be giving you 6 businesses. And I want you to write that down. These businesses are based on brokering home service projects that happen all year round. In other words, there's people during spring, summer, and fall that want to put sod in the ground, right? They want sod as grass, and they want into the yard. And Chris has learned how to generate those leads online for a fraction of the cost, and where you can basically hand that work off to somebody else. There's basically, Chris is going to show you the smartest way of making money. He's going to show you how to earn business like you've been learning on YouTube, and he's going to show you how to farm it out to somebody else at a huge profit.
So this is like drop shipping, but for sod?
For services.
Okay.
So drop shipping's day has come and gone. It's super competitive. Drop shipping services almost doesn't even exist in the world, and that's why Chris has 50 different proven businesses, and just about every week he proves out another one. And this is where his clients are killing it. So I want you to write this down. There's going to be 6 businesses. You know, you only need to kill it with one of these to make fantastic money. Kris wants you to have 6, and I want you to write this down why. Once you get your first stream of income going, then you can work on a second. And then you can work on a third. And if you have the ambition to make a lot more than $7,000 a month, this program will fulfill that need and desire. We have people that are doing this that are making a lot more than $7,000 a month. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. The third thing I want you to write down is coaching. Kris's top coach, his name is Luke, and you're going to get a chance to work with Luke over the next 6 months. 6 months is enough time for us to start you, like you should be making money in your first month, but we have 6 months of training because we want to keep holding your hand, walking you through step by step what you need to, because we don't want to help you just make a few grand and ditch. We want to be there at your side, helping you consistently pull this money down. And having a coach is a time accelerant. It means you stop wasting your time, and it means that you actually get to go really fast on this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kris, Kris, can I just ask you what value, like either DIY, do it yourself? I don't know if you guys have ever done do it yourself projects, but when people do, I always find there's like 2 types of people. There are those that start a project and never finish it. There are those that won't even start the project, so it just never gets done. But then there is the other kind of person that on their own, they're just really good at starting and finishing things real fast. Like if you guys are super honest, which do you typically, like which one?
I can't wait for him to answer this question.
Just being honest, like I want to know your nature. Maybe you don't need a coach. Maybe you'll be fine on your own. Some people are.
Judging by the hole in my kid's bedroom, it's been there for a year. I'm great at starting projects, not so great at finishing.
And by the way, I appreciate the honesty. That is why Kris believes if everyone can have a coach, they should. Kris has coaches in his life literally all the time. It's actually part of how he's become who he is. And that's why Kris wants that included here, because we can't guarantee anything. But if we wanted to get as close as we could to guaranteeing results, that's what happens when you get a coach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What value, Carson, would you see in having a coach, making sure that every week you're doing the 3 things that actually make money for you?
I mean, it would be so good for us. We've tried a couple of other things in the past, and I feel like we tend to just be okay when things aren't moving as quickly as they need to.
Yeah.
We find reasons to just say, it's okay. I mean, if this doesn't happen for the next few months, that's okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like we never get anything really off the ground.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, you're talking about your life, but my experience is this is how most people just are. And there's an art to success. And Kris has designed this program so that you can literally stack the odds in your favor. Now, next to that coaching, I want you to write the value of $10,000, because people gladly pay $10,000 to coach for 6 months with Luke to get results. And similarly, earlier when I talked about the 6 businesses, that's a $12,000 value, because each of these businesses has been found, has been proven, and is 100% available to you. I have a couple more things to share in this program, and then I have some questions to find out honestly whether it's going to be a fit, we're going to work together or not, okay? Here's the 4th thing that I want you to write down. You're going to access a private group of Kris's entrepreneurs. The rest of his hustlers are in this private online Facebook group, and in that group, Kris's other coaches are there answering questions, but here's the coolest part. You're literally going to be a part of a group of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other hustlers, and you're going to see people making money every single day and talking about it. And this group motivates and inspires and trains each other. It's also going to be a place for you to post your success and get acknowledged, or also help other people if you want. Like Kris has really created an amazing community. And for me, I don't know what value to put behind that. I just call it priceless, because I think that having lifetime access to a group of entrepreneurs that are figuring it out and making money, you're going to see people in that group that are content making a couple grand a month. You're going to find people in that group that are making like 10, 20, $30,000 a month. So your level of success is not based on us. It's based on when you get content. And you might say, Kris, I'm not content at 7. I want to keep going until I get to 10 or 15 or 20. These 6 businesses have the power to deliver that possibility. Does that make sense? So I think if you were to say, well, Kris, what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is you don't really put in the time and effort and energy you should, but you work with your coach and you make a few thousand extra on the side. This thing pays for itself really fast. But I wouldn't want you in this program if that's your ambition. We want you in this program if you're gonna say, hey, if we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do it. And that's why you have a coach to make sure that you actually do it. Does that make sense? Here's the fifth and final thing I want you to write down. 2 times a year, Kris puts on a bonus training. And we're giving you 2 tickets to this training. And it's an opportunity for you to get live with Kris for 4 days. And we'll let you know when those dates are. But basically, you can get live with Kris. Right now, he's doing a lot of his stuff virtual, so there might be an opportunity for you to attend virtually. But this is where you get to really get much deeper training. So once your business is off the ground and making money, then you get with Kris, and he gets to give you the advanced training to accelerate your results. Kris is big on doubling. So whatever you're doing, Kris is like, how do we double, triple, quadruple that thing? Because he's a results guy. Does that make sense? So I want you to write that down because in addition to working with his expert team, accessing his coaches, you're also going to get an opportunity to get some training with him. Make sense? Awesome. All right, so listen, Carson and Kris, that program that I've just laid out there, that is a $26,000 program. Anyone else on the planet would probably be selling it for just that. Kris personally, like who he wants to work with, are people that are trying to make their initial transition from where they're at to a significantly better life filled with more freedom, more time, and more money. And after evaluating your situation, I can at least tell you that this program that I just outlined, I literally see the people that are killing it and crushing it with this. And something that I hugely believe in. And so that's the program. I want to ask if you have questions about it, and then I've got 3 questions to find out whether we're a fit or not, whether I'm allowed to bring you aboard.
Okay.
What questions do you have for me about this program?
I mean, just details on the coaching and like what does it look like? How does it work?
Let me answer all that right now.
What's the track record of our coach?
Yeah.
Is it going to be you or you?
Okay, so the name that I mentioned earlier was Luke.
Oh, that's right.
So Luke is my job is, I'm an enrollment specialist. My job is to find the right people for the program. When it comes to the business side, see with Kris, different programs like real estate and partnering, like he basically has amazing coaches, people that he personally trains. Luke is his most successful business coach. Bottom line is when people work with Luke, they get results. It's awesome. Now, what's going to happen is if you guys decide to move forward today, you pay the $7,000, then what's going to happen by tomorrow is Luke's personally going to be reaching out for a welcome call. He's going to be setting aside time for you guys to figure out when you want to meet. When you meet is really flexible. And your first couple of meetings are probably going to be a little bit longer, but once you get in a groove, I mean, it's 6 months. He's always going to spend as much time as is necessary on the phone to make sure that you guys understand your next steps so that you can be making money. And so sometimes those are 10, 15, 20-minute calls. It could be an hour. And that really is dependent on just where you're at and how you're digesting the information, whether you're a little bit slow with technology or a little faster. Luke's super patient.
Technology's not going to be the
No,
problem.
you're in social media. I figured that it's not, but the coaching is designed and customized around your needs.
Okay.
And that's what makes it work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. What are the questions you guys have about this? Kris, do you have questions about this?
What's been your track record with people that come on board the program?
So this is kind of a cool thing. I don't know which of Kris's videos you've been watching on YouTube, but he's been documenting a ton of people since COVID leveraging this program. And one of the reasons why it's gaining so much fame and popularity is because typically in life, when you enroll someone in something like this, only a handful of people really win. Kris is having literally so many people making money in this working that it's just growing really rapidly. The coolest part is you're going to go right into the Facebook group. And guess what you're going to interact with? You're going to see all the people. You're going to see the money people are making. You're going to see how they're talking. And so if you've been online on Kris's website or you've seen those videos, dude, it's chock full of people that are making great money. And it's also chock full of less ambitious people that are really just honestly chill, making a few hundred to a few thousand extra dollars a week. So everyone has a different temperament. Some people value freedom, and some people value money. And this program gives you the flexibility. So you're going to see all sorts of track record beyond what you've been already seeing out in the public, because Kris posts this stuff everywhere. You've probably seen a lot of it. That makes sense? Other questions? If you don't, I have 3 questions for you.
Okay. I think we're good.
And I am not allowed to bring you into this program. Kris will not allow that unless I get the right 3 answers on this. So I just want you guys to know I appreciate the time we've had together. And if one of these 3 doesn't make sense, we just part as friends and that's okay. I still thank you for your time and you guys have been super courteous. I just know that my job, it's so important to me and Kris that we have committed people in this program. Does that make sense? So here are my questions. The first question is, for this to work, you're going to need to put in 5 to 10 hours. And I need to know that that's something between the 2 of you that you can find a way to do. Because if you want to put in less than that, I don't think this program's for you.
No, that's easy.
Can you do that? What about you, Kris? Is that something you can do?
I can find that time.
Perfect. Here's the second thing. The money. Like, Kris is asking you to put some skin in the game. $7,000 is a lot of money for starting a business. It's actually a small amount of
Because
money.
you threw out a number of prices. I mean, you said 26,000, you said 10,000, you said 6,997, you said 2,000.
Yeah.
So how many?
I want you to look at your piece
6
of
months
paper
of
there.
coaching.
So I want you to look at your program there. When I broke down the 5 components here, I wanted you to understand the value that people pay for these things. People pay $2,000 for that training. They pay $12,000 for these businesses. They pay $10,000 for the business coach. You've got the value of the Facebook page, which is free, and then you've got a couple $1,000s in tickets to attend one of Kris's events. That's the $26,000 of value. But
Okay.
Kris is only asking you to pay $6,997 because he wants you to have skin in the game.
Okay.
These resources are not free, but at the same time, Kris keeps that price really low because he wants to help the right people win as much as they can. So that is the investment to get started.
So clarity, the other part of this isn't pay in 6 months, it's 7K is all we're putting in.
The $7,000 is all you're putting in. There will be no additional dollars that you need to put in down the road into this program. The 7-figure hustle program, like you've been seeing on the YouTube videos, you are going to need a budget for generating leads for doing the business.
Your ad spend.
Yeah, most people set their ad spend to $5 a day.
Okay.
And then when they want to make a lot more money, they maybe move that to 10 or 15. So the cost of running the business is like really cheap.
Yeah, we were spending more than that on some of the other things we've tried, so.
Yeah. So that was a really great point of clarification. So if we move forward with this, that's the investment that you're going to make to get this started, to get your business going. That make sense?
Yes.
From what I've explained, does that investment make sense?
Yeah.
Getting the coach, the proven businesses, the training, the live interaction, does that make sense?
Well, it's
Yeah.
not every 20 at the price tag we're looking at for that franchise.
Yeah.
Most businesses, you're going to pay $50,000 to $100,000 minimally to get something started.
I mean, if we make 1,000 a month with the 6 months, it's program can pay for itself. Do people tend to make more than 1,000 a month doing this?
I'm going to tell you right now that if in 6 months you haven't had that program pay for itself, like Kris would be extraordinarily disappointed because that's just not what we see happening. That is what we could see happen if you guys don't pick up the phone, don't talk to your coach, and don't do your job.
Okay. Yeah.
If you don't put in the time, we can't, Kris is not going to call you up and motivate you. You guys have to want your lives and your futures to be better, which leads me to the third question, or my final question. Kris wants people that are absolutely committed to their financial future. He can't do that for you. He can train you, he can give you every resource, he can give you proven businesses. He can't put in your 5 to 10 hours a week, and he can't make you put a smile on your face. Kris's expectation is that if you're going to do this, that for that 5 or 10 hours, you're going to put your heart and soul into this, and that you're going to show up committed. And right now, honestly, if you just don't think you're there, I respect that. It's just a no for me. So my question is, honestly, right now, the 2 of you guys, I'm going to actually put you on hold for a couple minutes. Just going to hang tight here. I want the 2 of you to talk to each other right now and make a decision on whether you guys can really be committed and show up or not. If it's not, I respect that. I just need to know right now. So take a couple minutes, talk about that. All right, guys, it's been a couple minutes. What do you want to do?
Let's do it.
I'm in.
Let's
100%?
100%.
100%?
120.
Hey, guys, and guess what? Congratulations, it's a yes for me as well. Let's make this happen.
Okay.
You guys excited?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'll tell you why I'm excited. You guys have my phone number. I want to hear from you. In fact, I'm going to be getting reports from Luke. Like, I'm pumped about this for you guys. Here's my biggest advice. Put those 5 to 10 hours in work the team, work the system, and you're gonna see it work for you. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Question, do you want to use a debit card to pay for this? I'm gonna get your account set up, I'm gonna set up a membership portal for you. You're gonna get an email with, and I'm gonna give you a couple of assignments. Did you want to use a credit card, or did you want to use the money that you got from Grandpa?
I mean, it'll be,
Your JetBlue card gets mine.
And I'm gonna pause right there, because I just want you to show that after I congratulate them and after we get started, the next thing you do is say, great, let's go ahead and get you enrolled, let's figure out how we're gonna take care of payment right now, I'm gonna get your account set up, an email's gonna be sent, and then I'm gonna give them some assignments. Their assignments are going to be, number one, log into your portal after you create your account, and I'm gonna invite you to get through that course in the first week.
I'll be done the first day.
Okay, if you do that, then the second thing is get with Luke, he'll be reaching out to you, and then from there, just follow his advice. And now I've given him 2 assignments, and we've taken payment, and everything's good to go, and we're high-fiving each other, and that's the end of the deal. So, guys, give it up for Carson and Kris. All right, before we go into feedback, I am going to share with you one thing I forgot to do. So here's my feedback for myself. I did this to save time with an assumption that they understood what 7-figure hustle was. I did not clarify that. I would never go into the pitch without actually backing up to the beginning of the 7-figure hustle value ladder, and you'll find that it starts with a write-up on what is 7-figure hustle. You would need to find a way to articulate something like, well, great, let's talk about what we're going to be doing. Have you watched one of Kris's videos about these stupid, simple businesses where he brokers simple home projects and makes a lot of money? No, I haven't. Great. Page 26. Let me read a little bit and also share from what I understand about what this is. Make sure they understand that so that when you pitch it, I do not want them confused at, wait, what is this turnkey business that I'm buying? They should understand that before I go into pitching it. That's the only feedback I would have given where I could have created immense confusion. All right, outside of that, let's do some, let's just kind of like get some feedback on what just went down there. I think, by the way, Carson and Kris did a good job playing tougher clients, like they're not laydowns, they're not like shoe-ins. They asked actually some really good questions. So what did you observe?
Well, a couple questions that you asked that weren't in the script that I really liked. One of them was, do you feel like you're, based on your income right now, getting ahead, or are you breaking even, or are you falling a little bit behind? I thought that was an awesome question.
I like what Brad is doing right here. One of the reasons why Marianne and I, before your training is out, will give you a few more role plays is because you want to look for the nuances outside of the script. The script is best thought of as like a baseline concept from start to finish for someone that is new to the notion. And the psychology of the script is what you want to stick with. But anytime you can ask a better question that adds to the psychology, goes deeper, you're going to want to write those down and figure out how to integrate those. So thank you, Brad. By the way, I learned that one over time, that when I ask someone about the finances, I'm looking for pain and I'm looking for desire. And so part of the pain is just like, hey, like, is what you're doing working? Like getting ahead, break even, you feel like you're falling behind, where are you at? And it's a natural way for them to feel urgency. I never want to say something that creates panic for them. I don't want to tell them to feel financial panic. I want to ask questions that allow them to come to their own natural conclusions. So, great, Brad. Go ahead.
I have 2 questions. What's your definition of art of success?
My definition of what?
Art of success.
The art of success, or what a client's success is?
You just kept saying art of success, and I just want to know what does that mean?
Did I
to
say
you?
art of success?
Yes.
You did.
Oh, cool, awesome. So I believe that there is an art and a science to success and achievement.
What is that for you?
For me personally, the science of success is being able to break something down into processes, just like you broke down a piece of the process and might say, I insert this question and I find that 80% of the time it increases in natural urgency, so I've now permanently built that into my process, and I call that process mastery. That is the science of success, and you want to take all of this and say, what is the science? The art of success is when you have mastered something so well that you can do it with almost out even knowing that you're doing it. And so there's a number of dynamics that you might be observing from me where I have figured out how to claim what I'm doing. I'm no longer a shadow puppeteering, following someone. I've become the leader in my own right. I no longer have a real estate mentor I follow. I am the real estate mentor. And when that happens, Mary Ann's been talking to you guys about your X factor maybe. What is it that you uniquely bring to the table that makes you really good at this? Tomorrow morning, you're going to get a chance to meet Max. Max is young, 22, making 6 figures. He's been with us for 7, 8, 9 months. And what I love about Max is that on the outside, he's kind of introvert and quiet. And you look at him and you're like, he's not raging personality. He's very calm and collected personality. But when he gets on the phone, his X factor, he has no problem saying the hard thing that actually creates proper coaching and movement in the emotional, energetic transference. He does it now like an art. It's natural. It's weird for him if he weren't to do it. Great question.
Okay, is there like any sort of financing or anything? I mean, if somebody is just, they absolutely want to do this, but they just,
Yes.
they don't have a lot.
Great question. Right now, we do not believe in financing
Okay.
from experience. But that's why what we do is we have different levels. You could literally have someone on the phone pay $997, stick into the program, and just say, when you make your first $5,000, come back, because I can help you reinvest that, honestly, in some tools and resources that you're gonna love. Let's start you where you can, but I want you to focus first on reinvesting in yourself, because there's some coaching and some things that would make such an incredible difference for you.
On to that point, Kris is 100% absolutely correct. We don't believe necessarily in payment plans. However, there are some unique and special circumstances that you'll go over with deeper when we get into training. If, for example, someone wants to fund a partnership, they have $5,000 in cash now, they need to liquidate a HELOC or something like that. We, in some very special cases, can take a deposit as long as there is a secure path of payment for the remaining balance.
Like
in the
partial
house.
pay or
Yeah.
something.
Right, so it's not a financing thing,
Okay.
but there's sometimes we can break up pieces.
Yeah, and I want to add on that and talk about self-financing. Now there's one other thing I didn't demonstrate on the call because I'm also focusing on some brevity of time. There was one set of assets I did not ask about. Credit cards. And if I had gone through the credit card spiel and asked that, I might find out that he doesn't have money from grandpa, he's got $5,000 in a 401k, he's got $2,000 in the bank, but he's got a $10,000 credit card. I could still share a $5,000 90-day coaching program and build into that program. Now, obviously, when you put this on a credit card, you're gonna have a payment. Your payment's probably gonna be $50, $100. Well, your goal in the first 30 days should be to make enough money to not only cover that payment, but to actually start paying that program off. In fact, you should have a goal in the first 30 to 90 days to have that credit card paid off. By the way, Kris 100% believes in credit cards for making money. He does not believe in credit cards for going into consumer debt. If it's to make money and it's short term, it's a smart move. It's better than waiting and doing nothing, which is frankly what most people do. So there's your self-financing version.
Okay, thanks.
Great question, Andrew.
Getting back to the input, one thing that I really loved was you asked the individual spouses individual questions. So as the conversation went on, you said, Kris, what do you think about this? You know, and you just kind of went back and forth just to keep them involved.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I want to go a little deeper. When I get a spouse on the phone, I brought the spouse in at the appropriate time. Meaning, I got Carson wanting to talk to me, and that's important to then find out, great, what's your job? Oh, are you married or have a partner? Listen, we're talking about you potentially replacing your job, like this is a big deal. Is that a conversation you think that they should be a part of a big decision like that in your life? And I want to ask that question so that they want their spouse involved. And then when I get the spouse involved, I have to start at the beginning and kind of now see if I can enroll them. Anytime you get two people on the phone, 90% of the time, one will be more excited than the other. Guess who I am focusing my energy on? The excited one or the quiet one? The quiet one. The quiet one is the decision maker. Does that make sense? So that's one of the reasons why I demonstrated that, but I want you to understand what I'm really doing is if Kris is a hard nut to crack, I'm gonna put even more focus. And there's one more little comment I wanna make about the script. And you may have noticed this. I will not advance to the next section of the script unless I achieve the purpose of the prior section. It's not getting through the script. It's not effort. It's results. What is the result I need in the introduction?
Interest.
I need them to remember who I am and want and have that connection. What is the purpose? What is the result I'm looking for in the motivation?
See if it's even worth having the conversation.
And I have to get them to reveal why they took action. Why you above all other people? Why would you do that? I'm not moving on until I understand why he did it. If he doesn't reveal that and he's kind of being weird and I go to the next thing, it's broken. So by the way, you have to learn how to tap dance. Now the moment he's like, oh yeah, I remember why I did that. It's because there's something I want in my life. Then I'm going to go into the opportunity. I stay on the opportunity until I achieve the outcome. What's the outcome of the opportunity? That this person says, I want to talk to you and see if I qualify to work with Kris and his team personally. And I understand thousands of people want that, and you're only going to select very few, so I need to be serious. So yeah, I'm going to take this serious. Now, by the way, if I don't feel like he is serious enough, I did not feel like Carson was serious enough when I asked him the first time. He's like, oh yeah, well, we can do that. And then guess what I did? I went a little deeper into the pain. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
And then I went right back to the opportunity again until then I got it for sure like, yes, I need to have this conversation. I need them to get to a need instead of a would like to. Once I have a fever pitch, yes, let's go, then I'm going to go into the finances, I'm going to go into the dream sequence, and boom. So never move forward until you've achieved the outcome of the script. Awesome. Other feedback. What else did you see and witness and learn in that sample cell?
That was very, very helpful.
Was that useful, by the way, to kind of see that from start to finish? It's all starting to come together right now? Perfect. Good. Online. So Kristen, Kris, Cody, Mark, Lizzie, do you guys have any questions? Lizzie, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
So I don't have any feedback. I actually have 3 questions, if that's okay.
Yep.
So at what point, because obviously like this 7,000 for the business deal or whatever, that's what you sold, but how much would they need to have in order for you to sell that? Because obviously like if they have like 7,000, we don't want to sell them a $7,000 package.
Thank you. So Lizzie's asking a really good question. It's basically, how do I really know what program to pitch? Like what's appropriate? I am never going to take someone's last penny. That's just how you create a refund. If someone's excited and take action and then 2 days later has rent due, then all of a sudden, you're never even going to get paid on the sale. Fortunately, our team has a history of doing an amazing job helping people get the proper programs. So let me try to give you a really good answer on that. If someone, by the way, has very few assets, and if they've been working for 5, 10, or 15 years, you tell me, is this person going to make it?
No.
This person's never going to make it, and you know it, because they haven't accumulated anything, which means they need a die-hard intervention. If they've got 10 grand, I am not going to pitch my $2,000 program. I'm going to pitch my 7,000, or if I have to, I could downsell to my 5,000. My goal is to get them as much resource as possible, but here's how I know when I'm crossing a line. Hey Carson, of that $10,000 that you have in the bank account, how much of that is actually set aside that could be used for a business, and how much of that needs to be there for a sleep well at night fund? And if he says, well, I promised myself I would never go below 5,000. Okay, so let me ask you, does that mean that you have 5,000 set aside for a business? Yeah. Okay. He's an American. He's giving me the answer I want. Carson, we made an agreement to be honest with each other. Is it 5,000 that you really need in that account, or is it actually more than that? No, actually, honestly, Kris, I'm good at 5. Okay, so you really do have 5,000 that you could put into business. Yes. So if I could show you an opportunity where you could literally start achieving X, Y, and Z that you talked about, 5,000 is there and ready to go as long as it makes sense. Yes, Kris. Now I'm going to pitch a $5,000 program. So I probed. I found out where their threshold was. I found out what they feel comfortable with. Your job is to get them as many tools as possible and still let them be in a good, non-fearful financial space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Lizzie, great question. Question number 2.
Okay. Okay, the second question, so the prices you had said either yesterday or the day before that they're based on your previous clients or something, is that right?
Yeah, so what we've done is over time, we've tested and sold different parts of the programs and products at different pricings. So some of these things are actually based on what people have paid, like just the training videos alone, guys, like people have paid $1,000 to $2,000 for those. I think the safest thing to communicate is this is the value, and I want you to use that word value. That's where if you don't know, I know the difference, but if you don't know the difference, it's just like, this is a $2,000 value in the program. And the reason why I am sharing each individual piece and I'm building that value, I apparently didn't do a good job with Carson because he was confused. So I'm gonna learn to be even clearer on that to say, now if you add all those up, and by the way, you might say, I'm not gonna pitch the $7,000 price out the gate. I'm gonna just build the value and show them, there you go, let's add them all up. There's $26,000+. Kris is making that available for $6,997. And I get it. It seems really, really low, but that's because of the market that Kris is serving. He's not here to serve the wealthy. He's here to help people to get their first big transition into becoming wealthy. And that's why he prices it that way. And that's why he over delivers. It's why he has the reputation that he has. Great question. And Lizzie, was there a third one?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So when we go into recommending a program, do we only do that if that's a program that we can close without the set close model?
Great question, Lizzie. So this afternoon, Marianne is going to we're going to have you do some role playing on closing your own deals. She's going to have you practice closing the highest level program that you can in real estate, which is the Works at $5,000, or she'll have you practice closing the highest level business program you can do, which is $7,000. Then later in the afternoon, Marianne is going to train you on when someone has more means and they can play at a bigger level, she's going to teach you how to then take that person and set them. 90-80% of the conversation is the same. It's just either at the end, you're going to pitch a program or you're going to hand off. And there's an art to a really good handoff, and Marianne's going to teach you how to do a really good handoff. And based on their financial means, if they can't afford those higher level programs, then it's in your court to pick the proper program that makes the most sense for them. Great questions.
Okay.
Awesome. Other questions that you guys have? What did you witness? What did you hear and see? Go ahead.
This is more just an observation of something he said. Do you guys take cryptocurrency into account of their assets?
If they're willing to liquidate it.
Yeah, so let me just talk about cryptocurrency. Crypto is a very illiquid asset. If someone is hyper savvy and they're like, oh yeah, I can have my money out, maybe they got it in ClickBank, maybe they've got it in Coinbase or something that they can actually use. Most people I find don't. Listen, if it's an asset that they can spend with, then use it. We're not going to take cryptocurrency, but we'll take their cash that they can convert from their crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where it always comes down to is you're going to find that there's assets. And like, for example, someone's like, yeah, I've got no assets, but I inherited this piece of land in the middle of nowhere worth $10,000. Sell your property over the next 12 months and then get back in touch with me. It's just not very liquid, right? So we're looking for things that are more liquid. Yeah, great question.
Dinar.
Kris,
Never
I'm
know.
slapper for that dinar. You promise
Hey,
you
Kris?
would never do that again in a role play. All right, Cody, go ahead, buddy.
Relax.
My dad does
Money.
Can you hear me, Kris?
Yeah, Cody, I got you, buddy.
Hey, maybe I'm jumping ahead here a little bit, but question going back to the handoff and whatnot. So let's say we determine that somebody's got assets and we need to do the set close and whatnot. How often do they go to the closer and they end up for whatever reason not closing at one of the higher packages, and they end up deciding to, hey, get the ball rolling and close at one of the lower packages, which would be back in our court? How does that process work? Does it come back to us? Does the closer close it? How does that work?
Yeah, so thank you. First of all, so Cody's asking a really great question. He basically says, hey, if I actually got a great set, someone with financial means, and I set them up to a closer, they go into rotation and they don't close, like what happens then? First of all, closers are usually trained to do a 2-option close. They're either going to pitch the program the person needs, or they're going to give them 2 options, a higher and a lower option. And our closers literally make up the best of the sales team. I don't think, literally in the last 2 years, we've had a single qualm that anyone ever had with one of our closers, because they probably are more likely to sell the deal than you at a higher price than you at a lower price. So first of all, you're just going to naturally build your own rapport with who they are. And it would be good for you to always follow up. Hey, your appointment's tomorrow at noon. And then tomorrow 1 o'clock rolls around, you text them or call them, you're like, hey, what happened? Like what's going down? And if you work with that closer and find out that for whatever reason they're stuck and it's not going to move, could you, Cody, work with that closer to basically take it back in your court, offer a lower price program as the best option and help them get started with something? The answer is yes, you can do that. Generally, our closers just do an amazing job making sure that they get business closed at one way or the other. So I would call that actually a super infrequent experience. Yeah, really good question. Perfect.